Okay, so now that I'm not going to install this now, I'm just pulling up my notes. Okay, so let's go over a couple of your meat and potatoes Linux commands. So, hi there.
Can I close this?
Sure.
It's upset with the prop noise.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right, so in terms of Linux commands, your mainstays are going to be ls, and what ls does, other than being an obsessive compulsive tick, down the road, ls is going to list all of the files and folders in a specific file space. So as you're digging around, and you have some package or some project that you're looking in and you're saying, oh my God, where are my files? ls will show you what files are available. Similarly, you can have cd. So cd is for change directory. So as you're looking through your folder system, cd is how you do it. So you can see with ls, so right now I'm in the home directory, and that is signified by this tilde and the $sign. So if I go into documents, you can see that now it's tilde/documents. And if I cd dot space dot dot, I'll go up one directory. So dot dot signifies go up one directory, while single dot is the current directory. So you can see if I type cd dot, there's no change, but cd dot dot, it goes up one. So can I go up another directory? Sure can. So now we start really getting into the Linux root file system. And so you can see I went up twice, and now it's no longer a tilde $sign, it's a /$sign. So that slash is similar to C:, on your Windows machines, but that's that's the root, right? That's as low as it gets, and everything that you see there is the Linux file system. Everything is you can manipulate, everything you can change, everything you can screw up. So don't, right? So there's going to be a few things that we will change below the home directory later on, but for right now we don't need to. So we can get back to the home directory always by typing cd tilde, and for me it's shift and then the key above the apostrophe, or whatever that guy is. I don't know what the name is right now, but cd tilde gets you back to your home directory no matter where you are. So that's ls and cd. Well, what if we want to make some file, right? So we're going to go nano, and it's going to be, so for nano, when you make a file, you just type nano, the name of the file, and it will automatically generate it. So we're going to do sample.txt. Now you can see, okay, I have this blank document. If I want to get out of it, it'll say, oh wait, that's the wrong thing. That's not what I wanted to do. You can press Control X. There were no changes that were made to that file, so it doesn't ask you to save anything, and you're done. But let's say that you do want to make changes. So you want this just to be, now you made changes to your file. So if you press Control X now, it's going to say, hey, save modified buffer. If you click N, right, and press Enter, it's going to delete all your changes, but Y, and you can change say what the name is, Enter, and now when we go back into sample.txt, bam, we have that text there. So a couple other things, probably the most powerful thing in Nano, like really the only powerful thing in Nano, is Control K and Control U. So Control K cuts the entire line. Control U will uncut, right? So it restores it. So for example, now I pressed Control K 4 times and removed all 4 of those lines, but one Control U brings it all back. You can press Enter a couple more times. One Control U will paste all 4 of those lines. So that's one of my most used items. Second most used is Control W. So Control W is your Control F equivalent in Windows, but it's just your search. So if I want to type in sample, it goes to the first instance, and if I press Control W again, it's still searching for sample, and I press Enter, it just goes to the next one. So Control W, Enter, will iterate through all of the places where sample is found. So we'll Control X, press S, press Y, and save that file. Okay, so now, let's say you want to see what is in that file. Well, you could open it, but opening and then Control X and typing all these keys is maybe a little bit much, especially if you know that you just want to look at the last line. Or, if you know that you don't need to edit anything, you just want to see what's in there. Well, that's where cat comes into play. So you type cat sample.txt, and it just prints out to the terminal everything that is in the file. And so when you're looking for, hey, did I update this? Is this, is everything that I need to be there? What's the name of my variable? So cat, it just prints it to the screen, and you have that information. Now again, let's say that you want to just get the last line. Well, if you do tail minus n 1, and so this flag n indicates that you want to show a specific number of lines. So this is going to show the last one line. And then sample.txt, it just shows the last line. And the same thing with head. If you do head minus n 1, sample.txt, it shows the first line. Now you'll just have to trust me that that is the last and the first line respectively, since they're all the same line. So as I was doing that, you might have noticed that I typed head minus n 1 s and then pressed tab. So when I'm navigating through the Linux file system, I am always using tab. The reason is because tab is autocomplete. And if the file does not autocomplete, or the command does not autocomplete, the command or that file does not exist. So if you're scratching your head and you're typing in something and it's not finding it, well, if you didn't autocomplete, maybe you just hit the wrong key, or you had to hit S twice, or whatever it is. Get into the habit, always use autocomplete. It's going to make sure that you're doing, that you're telling the computer to do what your brain is telling your fingers to do. So, and it works with everything. So there's no way to really see it right now, but if I type in head, I'm typing in every letter that I type, I'm typing in tab to wait for that autocomplete. Now, if I type in H and I type tab, it doesn't do anything because there's 1,000 commands that have H as the first letter. So let's say I want to see what they are. If I double tap tab, it will list all of the options. So you can see that these are all of the different things that I can do from the Linux command line that start with the letter H. Same thing applies for change directory. Let's say that I want to do cd, here's a big one, cd do. Anybody know what's going to happen if I hit tab? Do you know, Daniel?
It's going to list all the directories that start with do, so
Downloads and documents, right? So doc, dow. So a lot of people will be like do and hit tab and it doesn't do anything. Well, doc. And so you learn for the commands that you use often and like the directories that you go to often, it's going to become second nature. how many letters you have to type in before you hit tab. So, all right, so that's ls, that's cd, that's nano, that is cat, head, tail, right? And so now the purpose of going over these is not to expect you guys to, be integrating all of this into your workflow that you don't even know what it is yet, but just remember that these commands are out there. And honestly, it might even be better just to have a Word document that, or like a note, a sticky note, something, and write these commands down and just have them as a reference. So later on when you're going through and you're saying, okay, well, what was that command? It's, you know where to find it. Excuse me. So now we made this sample.txt file right here in the home directory. Well, that's a terrible place for it because if you're like me, you don't like a cluttered home directory. So we have to make a new folder. And so to do that with Linux, you go ahead and type mkdir, short for make dir. And so you could either make the directory right here. So I could say, seminar1. And now if I type ls, we can see that I have the seminar1 directory. But let's say that I'm working in a file system. So with Linux, a big part of your workflow is going to be compiling. If you've worked with MATLAB or Visual Studio or any other IDE, what you'll know is that you have a button for build. You don't have that anymore. So what you have to do is, and this is outside of the scope of this, but you're going to have a make file. For ROS, it's going to be a CMake file. And for ROS, you're going to run the command catkin_make. So, but you have to do that from a very specific place in your file path. And it's a lot easier to navigate, to write commands with respect to that origin. So what I'm getting at is if I wanted to make a subfolder in Seminar1, I could either do cd Seminar1 and then come in here and say make dir new folder. And then when I have to build, I have to do cd ... to get back to my home directory. Or just from the home directory, I could say make dir. Now I do // because the dot is my current directory. And then the slash is the next folder. So in my current directory, I'm going to look for Seminar1, and I'm going to type in SE and hit tab, and it auto-completes, so it found it. And I'm going to make the dir in Seminar1 new folder 2. And now, if similarly we can make the dir and we can access subfolders higher up the chain, we can also do that with ls. So I can say ls Seminar1, and we'll see that we have new folder and new folder 2. So one of the last things now is move, right? We spoke about the sample file and wanting to get it out of our home directory. So we can either copy it or we can move it. And so what I'm going to do first off is copy sample.txt, and that's going to go to seminar new folder. Just like that. Now again, ls seminar 1 new folder. We can see sample.txt is there, and as you would expect, it's also on our home directory as well. So standard copy, right? And if you want to move it, it's just mv. So sample.txt to, let's put this one into seminar 1, new folder 2. All right, so now I'm going to go into seminar 1, and I don't need both of these, right? So what I want to do is go into new folder 2. Let's get rid of the sample.txt. So the way we do that is rm is your remove command, rm sample.txt, and now That, of course, is gone. So now we have an empty folder. What happens if we do rm new folder 2? Well, it's not going to work. And the reason is because you have to set the flag to specify that you're deleting a folder. So it's rm minus r new folder 2. And if there was a file in there or other folders with other files, it would delete the whole shebang, right? So when you're deleting folders, make sure that you want to delete those folders. Okay, so I think that that's a good list of commands. There's also grep is also pretty useful. Grep is like one of the first original Linux commands, and the purpose of it is a search. So if I do grep and I look into new folder sample.txt and I look for the word sample, so sorry, the syntax is grep, the keyword, so for me it's sample, and then it's the place that you're looking for it. So if we do new folder sample.txt, you can see it shows all 8 times that the keyword has been found. Now this becomes very powerful when you start using regex, which is your star, right? So let's say that I know I have some variable somewhere in this folder. Well, if you do grep sample new folder star, it's going to search everywhere in that folder. Whether it's not just one file now, every file. So if there's 1,000 files and you have no idea which one the variable you're looking for is, or where that is, but you know the name of that variable, you can find it with grep. Yeah.
So when I was using grep, I had to do grep sample seminar1 new folder and then sample.txt. It wasn't letting me just do a new folder.
Did you use, so if you do new folder star.
Oh.
Yeah, new folder star. Did it work?
I'll talk about it later.
Okay. Are you, well, no, where is,
My new folder's in seminar1 still.
are you, where are you in the file system? You're at home. So if
You're
you,
in seminar 1.
I'm in seminar 1. So if I was at the home, and so the question was, Eric was asking, the issue was, I was in seminar 1 and he was in home. So if anybody was following along and had typed the command from the home directory, new folder star, grep sample new folder star, you got hit with that error. But if you're in the home directory and you do grep sample seminar1 star, still going to get hit with an error.
I think you have to
Yeah.
do the next.
Yeah, so you got to do that. And so you do have to go to, I guess, the space where the files are. Now there are more powerful ways to use grep where you don't have to specify. And so it's grep in conjunction with pipes, which are the vertical lines. And so you pipe the output of grep into an organizer, and it'll tell you things like what line number that's on, what specific file it's associated in. So if you look up grep, you can definitely find a lot more powerful functionality than we're going over today. So real quick, we actually don't have the setup to fully use these next 2 commands, but I'm going to go over them quickly. The first one is SSH. So SSH is to get from one machine to the other. And essentially what you do is you just type SSH, for example, the name of the user for the machine you want to reach, then the IP address of that machine. Let's say it's you know what the IP address is, and then you would press enter, and it prompts you for the username and password, and then you're in. That's it. If you also, there are other ways where you use the host name and you don't have to have the IP address, but that's a different thing, but that gets you from one machine to another. And then finally, with SCP, if you do SCP -R, and let's say for us, we wanted to do Seminar 1, and then we did Ubuntu at 192.168.1.10, :tilde, and then desktop. So what this would do is take the folder Seminar 1 from this computer and transfer it to the desktop of the computer at IP address 192.168.1.10. Again, if you're, in the field working with robotics, you need to transfer a file from one computer to the other. It's a nice, easy command line way to do it.